Ah, it's a great day to be a Zelda fan. Actually, you know, it's a great week to be a Zelda fan. Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of GWC Plays. I've not done one at all this year. Is my first one. I've been away for a bit, but I had to come out of retirement for this. This is a special occasion. I had to drop everything and play this. So, there's a lot of explanation to even explain how I got to this point here and what's happened with Ocarina of Time over the past day and a half. Because stuff is still coming out from it. And you know what? I'm gonna try and explain everything to the best of my ability that I can. I might miss some things, but I'm gonna try and explain. And I'm gonna go in chronological order of the events, and then we'll go right into it. So let's get into here, because that's gonna keep playing forever. So I'm gonna be here for a little bit. I got a lot of things to talk about before we even dive into what we're doing today. So as a summary of what happened the previous day, so I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see a particular tweet come through the timeline, and it's from a Twitter user by the name of Forest Illusion, who posts debug stuff and I guess different things here and there. I follow a lot of video game archivists on Twitter, so I see usually a lot of stuff when it comes to debugs of games, discoveries of older games and lost games, and here and there. And the tweet in question was talking about how they had acquired an F-Zero X development cartridge. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But there's a little thing at the end of that tweet that really caught my attention. And it was a point that there was some Zelda 64, specifically Space World 97 data that was still left on the cartridges as an overdump. Because a common thing that would happen back then is that as a project would finish, or they're working on it, rather than create a whole new cartridge, they would just reuse the exact same one over and over again. They would erase the footage, the data on there, and just so on and so forth. And apparently on this F-Zero X development cart, there's half of it is devoted to Ocarina of Time. And immediately after I saw this tweet, I got very excited. I was like, ooh, wonder maybe it's some small stuff here and there. And within 3 hours, crazy stuff is coming out. With a lot of textures, a lot of icons I've never seen before, to maps and so on and so forth. And I have it up on screen right now, an image of all the icons that are in this beta version of Ocarina of Time. And it brings a lot of questions here too, because you see this little shell, blue shell thing underneath the Deku nut, and it's wait, what's that? What's that egg doing there? Is that the same egg that you get in the game? You see the medallions, you see that black one and silver one, and you see all those arrow types, and it's there's some really crazy stuff in here. And we did eventually learn, because also inside of the data that was in there was a lot of text dumps. So we were able to at least figure out finally what some of this stuff is, along with get answers to stuff we never knew about. So for instance, the little shell spiky thing, that's a landmine. So that, to my understanding, that's probably an early version of the bomb tube before that was even a thought in development. And you have the little grass reed there underneath the Megaton Hammer, and that was something that's already been known for a little bit, and you can see it for half a second in early footage, which is a little reed you would call to call Epona. So I guess at that point in development, Epona, you wouldn't have Epona song, you'd pick up, or you would use the reed to call her, which is an idea that did eventually go to Twilight Princess. So they did use it, but it is interesting that it was an Ocarina of Time. And the craziest thing here is when you get over to the medallions, which we've known about this for a long time, and how early in development, the medallions that you would get from completing the adult dungeons, they would be actual items you would use, and they would each have their own different abilities that would come from them. And some of them did make it into the final game, so like the fire medallion ended up being Din's Fire, and a few of the other ones. Like, I guess the one for, which probably was going to be the Wind Temple, would turn into Fair's Wind, which lets you warp. But for that, like, silver and black one, we also got the description of those. And there's one description in particular that really took me aback, because it's something that we've never known until yesterday. And it's particularly for the soul medal, which is probably the silver or black one. No, I think it's the silver one. And the description reads, "I got a soul medal. If you use it in sea, you can become Navi. Become Navi and fly around." Now that opens up a lot of questions, because I don't think it's ever been brought up at all that at any point in this game's development, you could control Navi and fly around. And after hearing that, it kind of like makes sense for certain aspects. Like, one point someone did bring up was like, you know, the Hidden Scarecrows, like, it seems like that could have been something that the Navi move would have been used for. But it's really tough to say. Like, it kind of brings up like, like, what kind of puzzles would that have brought in? Because it almost seems like these medallions would have played a big part. Because like that one, the darker one, it's called the Medal of Darkness, and the description of that one is, if you use it in sea, it's straight, it's dark, and the enemy doesn't even notice. So it kind of implies that you would have some kind of invincibility. So there's some wild stuff. And while the Navi one, that definitely is kind of a callback, since Zelda 2 had a form of that with the magic spells, and you could turn into the fairy. And we did eventually see some form of that when it came to Wind Waker, with being able to control the seagulls and so on and so forth, like in Twilight Princess 2 and that. But it's like, it's crazy that some of this stuff was even in Ocarina of Time. So I've been going on way too long. So let's get on with this. So what are we doing here? I'm sorry it's like 20 minutes of talking about it, but I get very excited when it's Zelda stuff, and especially when it's beta stuff. Like, if you had seen me the day that Nintendo Giga Leak happened, boy, I was almost in tears. Like, the second it was like, oh, Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Link to the Past, and the second that Ocarina of Time stuff came out, I was glued to my screen. I couldn't get away. And it was like that for me yesterday. I was like, I'm going to be on Twitter all day, just seeing all the new stuff come out. But, yes, today, somebody who's been posting a lot of like footage of just getting the maps actually working and running in the final engine, Z64 compiled a ROM that lets you kind of play around with it on your own. So there's quite a bit of stuff. I'm going to try and go through all of them. Some of these I have not seen, so it's going to be a first time just going in there. I'm going to try and give context to like what it was, what it could have been, like what particular photo it was. So I don't know. So I think we'll start off with this FST Dan. Oh, first dungeon. Okay, don't know why I'm dying here. That's weird. But yeah, this room, it did eventually make it into the final game, of course, in Ganon's Tower. But this room, if you look at some early screenshots, like this dungeon here was one of like the early things. that you could see in the development. Like this right here, like this, like the climb to Ganon's tower, it's very similar in a lot of ways. So they definitely took that idea and they kept it for the final release. But like this room right here, if you've ever seen the early beta screenshots of the game, you will remember this like extremely well. Like this is, it's really, really surreal, like playing this right now. Because when I tell you, so much of my early childhood was spent on those like Zelda websites, looking up like beta images and footage and trying to figure out everything about it. Like I was so hooked on just finding out more about this game's development. Like something about it was just so interesting. Just it coming on the cusp of Super Nintendo and that leap to 3D, and just how much it changed in development. Like if you look up early footage of this game, it changed like dramatically over the years. And there's like so many different builds. Like there's the build where the sword is on A. There's the build where like sword's on the C up, and Link has the older design. You could jump, and it has the more like stylized enemies that kind of more resemble like Zelda 1. So it's pretty cool finally actually seeing this stuff like in person and playing it. Like this is something definitely, this isn't like new, because this in the Giga Leak I have seen this before, but it's the first time actually playing it. So it's pretty nice. And I'm about to die. I really wonder why, like I wonder where the floor was placed. That it has to be like Death Mountain or something to cause that. Well, I like to save. I'll continue playing. Yeah, you know, I'll continue playing a little bit. I'll check out a little bit more. But I don't know, we'll see. I might move on. Don't think there's I will say I do like these little like tiki things. They do look pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna check out another one. There was actually a little thing that Z64 put in the comment where you could download this use thing. If you have a second controller, you can get back to this, but my computer's got too many USB ports used right now, so I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to like just do this. So you know, it's fine. So a Deku Tree. This is one I'm really looking forward to seeing. I haven't seen the whole footage. So this is the beta design of the Deku Tree. And it's so different. Like it's like this whole area like is huge. Like that's the one thing, looking at kind of the early, the little bit I have seen of this footage, the verticality is definitely the thing I'm seeing a lot, where like every area is pretty big. And this too, like, I feel like the main game wasn't this tall. Maybe it was. But the way it's set up is like almost like a maze in a way. So I don't know, we're gonna explore the whole thing here. I wonder if this room, this was gonna be where the Deku Scrub was, where you would learn to let me get this on, where you would learn about this to get the information, because I feel like this spot right here would be prime to put them in. Oh, there's a little ladder right here. I didn't notice that. And here's the room. This is the room right here. Yo. Man, it sucks like the buttons, like there's no like actors or anything on this. But yeah, if I get the shot right. Yo, this is it. there's an early like photo of this room right here, of like Link here. I can't recall how many of those like Ocarina of Time like beta restoration projects have tried to recreate this room. I've seen this like room remade, and like we're doing a Ura Zelda project, and they tried to recreate this like this shot right here, this room. Like the fact I'm actually like moving through this and like can see the whole thing is, I honestly never thought I would see this. Like it's so unreal. This to me is the holy grail of Zelda stuff. Like, yeah, it's not the earliest Zelda stuff, but like I've seen some of these screenshots like and never thought like, oh, I'd actually see the whole thing. And there's so much more to it too. Like I'm sorry if I'm like super excited about this, but this is really cool. Like this dungeon was restructured like entirely. Like there's no bottom floor on it. So you wouldn't even go beneath the floor to get to the basement. This must be the room where you got, you have to get something in here. I feel like maybe a chest. It had to either like the slingshot or something. That also implies though, like, what would you even get here? Would you get the slingshot this early on? Would it be the boomerang? Like those are the questions I'm kind of curious on. And it was kind of like cool playing this because, oh boy, I got a phone call. Listen, I'm sorry, but this I have to finish this. I'll call that. Don't worry, I will call that person back. But Zelda comes for. Well, actually, that's a family member. I can't be saying that. I'm gonna scratch off the record because that makes me sound really bad. But I'm sorry. I've been waiting 20 years to play this stuff. This definitely right here has to be another one of the Deku scrub rooms. Just something about the size of it. It just seems like it would be something in there, and maybe there would be like the chest of the dungeon. Okay, I'm just gonna float out. Yeah, this place is huge. Wait, is there another door here? I'm honestly, I'm really liking how this is set up. I definitely feel though that they made the right call changing it, because I feel like for a first-time dungeon, the way it's set up in the final game definitely works better for a first-time player, since it's very straightforward. Of you go up the hill, you climb, and it gets you acclimated to using the slingshot and kind of working in a 3D space. This definitely is really cool, just showing just the scale of everything. But I think for a starter dungeon, it doesn't, it probably doesn't work. Which is obviously why it never made it into the final game. But it's still cool nonetheless to see like a future what could have been had they stuck with this. And one other thing I didn't actually even mention, wonder what. Wonder if this would have been like a thing of. Okay, you can't shoot through. That's interesting. Okay, let me go back. But no, sorry. One thing I didn't mention when I was doing the whole talking at the beginning is about the text dumps. Like I did, but there are actually some story stuff in there too. And there's some interesting things that in the earlier stage of the game that definitely changed some things up. Because there's one particular text file that was found, and it kind of implied that you would start the game off, you wouldn't even have Navi. You would have to beat the Great Deku Tree dungeon to unlock Navi and like save other fairies. So I don't know how, like, that right there changes the whole intro of the game and a lot of like character like stuff too. Like that would have been like, that's kind of weird. Okay, I've already been in this room. And a few other things too, like it also in the text talks about how when you would first see Ganondorf, like after you got all 3 spiritual stones, you would kind of have like a multiple choice answer. You'd have 3 different questions, and depending on the question would depend on whether he shoots you with the energy beam. So it's just like some of that stuff is like really wild. All right. Yeah, this dungeon's pretty good size. Like, I'm still not done exploring it. It's pretty great. I'm still not done, and there's so much more video left. There's so many more things to explore. But you know what? I hope you will join me for the full tour. The Tour de Zelda, the Tour de France. The Tour de Link. Okay. Wonder if you like would have, like, is this where you would have fought the boss? I'm curious how it would have been. I do know Goma was in the game. There is an early screenshot of Link fighting him. I just don't know what room that would have been in. All right, I think with this, actually, no, there's another door over here. Yeah, dang, that's why I think I'm done. I keep finding new doors. How big is this place? Oh, okay, it's this room over here. All right, that's a great Deku Tree. That's the first one. What a good start. That was cool. There's some stuff in there that I do remember. I do recall. And I'm gonna try for all these, if I do remember the area, to give kind of like, oh, it's from this screenshot here. Yep, here we go. Here's Dodongo's Cavern, an earlier form of it. Apparently this one also kind of like Great Deku Tree, I've heard, is also pretty full formed. Like, it's got a good amount of the dungeon in there. It's pretty interesting to see at this point. But you don't have that little platform. They have these 3 columns here. But you know, let's check it out like we were going through the dungeon and the main game. Okay, you've got those Black Abyss here. Okay. Okay, this room seems about the same. Okay, the little puzzle was definitely added, and they They did add that little platform. That was a good addition. I wouldn't say I have an encyclopedic knowledge of Ocarina of Time. There's definitely people who know way more, but I've played the game enough that stuff will come out where I'll be like, okay, that's new. Yeah, these spikes definitely seem like new additions. I think this room's also a little different too. I don't remember that little thing in the middle taking it up. But I will say so far, like compared to Great Deku Tree, which is like a whole different dungeon, this still, this seems pretty close to the final game in a little ways. Like it's small little changes here and here, there. Like this room definitely is different. Although this exact kind of room is in the dungeon. It's just way later on. Because you have to push the little statue on away to get up onto the thing to hit the switch. Okay. Okay, this is a bit different. This room is in the game, but it's structured a bit differently. This is where the the dongos usually are. Of course, it's missing the puzzle. I was like, is that climbable? It's like, oh no, it's not. That was climbable vines. I will say, like, their vision for this dungeon is pretty close. Let me guess, this takes you out here. Yep. Yeah, so I think this dungeon, they felt like, you know what? This one's in the right direction. Because it does seem to follow the main game pretty close. It is pretty nice. Okay, this is different. This is usually where you would have to use the bombs and blow up to get to that top area. Also, what is this wall texture? This texture is looking kind of crispy. Like, I don't know what's going on. Oop. Okay, nothing up there. Okay, so it is technically the same room. Just, I guess the way to get up there is way different. We have the Skulltula. Okay, so it's technically the kind of the same room. Here's the first bridge. Okay, this is a bit different. Yeah, this room's way different. I'm gonna have to come back just to see what that little open spot was. Okay, so this, wait, did I just go in a circle? No, I didn't actually. I didn't actually go in a circle. What's the other side? Oh. Shows me, it's like, are you even paying attention? It's like I am. Like I was getting caught up in my next thing. One other thing I did want to talk about too is going back to that item list for the UI. There is an interesting thing in there, and it's that the spiritual stones had a much different design Like, oh yeah, oh this room isn't in final game. I don't think I've even seen this texture. Like, this texture definitely didn't make it. I feel like this room, like, I don't know why, I feel like this probably was where you got the bombs. Like you might have like fought something, and a ladder would be like right here. Cause I just playing Zelda games enough. I feel like I feel like for anybody, you have a feeling when it's like, oh, there's gonna be an item here, and to me, it's just screaming, oh, there's a big item that would be right there in a chest. I don't know, but no. Getting back to the spiritual stones, they had a very different design, and they formed music notes, and it looks like at that point in development, like they actually had a hand in the Ocarina of Time, because on that like little chart of all the icons, you can see for the Ocarina of Time like 3 of like the little indents on it all match the colors of the spiritual stones. So it looks like Link would have put the spiritual stones in the Ocarina of Time, and that would have allowed him to play Song of Time and access the Temple of Time. Well, that's pretty cool texture. And it also would kind of add more to like the music theme of the game with the Ocarina of Time. Oh, nothing here. Oh, let's get back. I'm not trying to go into the abyss right now. Also, another funny... Actually, does this lead anywhere, or is this just dead end? Oh, wait, where does this lead? Where does this lead? Oh, this room. Oh. Okay, let me get back up. It's pretty cool. But no, another funny thing, too, that's also kind of interesting, but I do feel was a good choice, was that when they were looking through the text, apparently for Epona, during like the talk, if you decide like you didn't like Epona's name, you could change the name. So at that stage in development during the Space World demo, if you're like, you know what, I don't like Epona's name, I just want to name it something else, you could. Which I'm like, that's pretty cool. But I'm happy it made it to Twilight Princess instead. Cause I feel like, I don't know, knowing me, I would not have left it as just Epona. It would have been named something else entirely. Yo, this is a full dungeon. Yeah, dang, the boss room looks pretty similar. Looks a bit smaller though, I will say. They definitely made it bigger, but yeah, it's a full dungeon. You know, pretty good. I definitely, it stayed pretty close. Like I think the second portion of the dungeon definitely was the one that was a bit different, and structure wise was the one that had less work on it. But no, that was one that definitely, like, the changes they did make to it were worth it, just adding extra puzzles and that. Alright, Forest Temple, Fire Temple. There's a lot of these. Like, I will say, you know, I wanted to go through all of these. Realistically, I might not be able to in this video. But I don't know. I'll keep going. I'm just not trying to have a 3-hour video here, because I honestly could be here for like 3 hours talking about this stuff. Okay, so let's go Forest Temple. Okay. Ooh, that's another area, but we can't get there yet. Whoa. Let me not see this stuff. This is I forgot that in the debug ROM, when you leave a screen, it takes you to a whole other area. But I don't want to see that, so that's spoilers. We haven't gotten there yet. I'm treating this like like I would anything else. We gotta wait to get to like the other cool stuff. All Alright, Forest Temple. I guess the load, like, the zone is pretty wide. Alright. So, it looks like the little key on the top wasn't in here yet. This one I mentioned, I actually did see a little bit of this one on the YouTube channel. Now, this temple is very, very weird, seeing so bright. It's like, man, it's... Oh, there's a whole little step thing there. It's just like, man, I'm not used to seeing this temple, like, with, like, a light peering through and I can see everything. This temple to me was always so grimy. Like, it's grimy, it's dark, the lighting's great, the music's great. Ooh, never seen that texture before. That's cool. Oh, it's not actual place. It's like a window. Yeah, that definitely is something that wasn't in the game. This temple never had light peeking through. Dang it. This random door just chilling here. I guess that's something they did fix in the final game, is like having these two areas connect just naturally. I guess they had it just be its own giant area, then have that loading screen, because it definitely would look really goofy to have that in the final. Definitely does seem a little bit, does seem pretty similar. Kind of seem, definitely like, I'm definitely getting kind of the same feel for Dodongo, where when it came to the Forest Temple, they kind of already had an idea how it would be like laid out and structured. It does seem pretty similar. Like, here's where that switch would be. You get in the water. Oh no, am I gonna get in the water? It's like, they ain't water. Alright, let's see what else is in here. I wonder how far they actually did go. Ooh, I'm gonna check that area out definitely soon. It's a lot of stuff though to check. Okay. Yeah, this room's well, except for that little, what's this corner here? maybe that's where the little pots would be. Oh, okay, and they got the second story in here too. Okay, so that was consistent as well. So that was there too. I had to think about it for a second. Like, what was that? It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's like playing is really got to go back to like my Ocarina of Time. Unload the memory. It's like, wait, was that there? Man, it's crazy how much that lighting just affects everything in the dungeon. That lighting when you go between those little areas, like where those like the sculptulas usually are, like it looks so good. I think I remarked about that in my Ocarina of Time rando playthrough. I did. I said a lot of things about Ocarina of Time. I honestly wish there's a part of me that's kind of sad that I didn't record it last year. Because had I been recording that when that Nintendo Giga Leak came out, oh, I would have had so much to talk about. But I would have had so much to talk about right now. Because there's some stuff I brought up in that playthrough. I mentioned like beta Ocarina of Time stuff. And like, man, I wish I could see that stuff and all this and that. But I got it now. This definitely seems like seems pretty consistent to the final game. Alright, I think that's it. Maybe for these next few ones I won't explore all of it, but I feel like at some point some of them are going to be pretty short. So I think maybe the way it was structured was definitely like start off with the bigger ones, and as it goes on, maybe it gets some more like a smaller room here and there. Okay, now we're back. Okay, Fire Temple, Water Temple, Garuda Training Ground. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna move on a little bit from the temples. I kind of want to check out this older Hyrule Field and like some of this stuff. So I'm gonna check out older Hyrule Field. And here's another one right here. There's an old screenshot of like Link standing behind this thing. They're like Link standing on top of like a tower. Only it's the entrance to Hyrule Castle. I was looking at some of this stuff a little bit before recording. I was just like, let me look at some old screenshots just so I can have some comparison, some stuff. This one's pretty cool. Still got Hyrule in the distance. No audio. But the thing I was talking about earlier is that the environment was so huge when they first started making this. Like, look how big Hyrule Field is. It's like, okay, so there's that. I wonder where Death Mountain will... Okay, I know Zora's Domain definitely probably is there. Looks like there's like a little river going on there. So definitely that's probably where Zora's Domain was. Kikiri Forest over there. Some of these I can pinpoint because there's also inside of it was the Atlas, an older version of like the game map, like the in-game one. And it does seem pretty consistent, although some stuff definitely is a bit bigger. This is really cool though, because like it still kind of works in a way, like maybe not like, I think it's done better in the final game, where as you leave Kakiri Forest you get to see like the whole field, but then you kind of have to walk out into it, so like your view is still kind of like stuck. I guess the way I'm explaining it is like when you first leave Kakiri Forest, you kind of, after you see that cutscene, it cuts back to Link. And you're just walking down a little catacomb. You gotta like turn right and left, then to get into the field. You kind of hit like, dang, where do I go? You're hoping to this open world. And I kind of like that you don't even see Hyrule Castle at first. You have to like go a distance to get to it. And it kind of works the same way in this. Like you would follow the road, and once you get up to that hill, then you would see the huge castle in the distance. So it still kind of is there in a way, but it's definitely done a bit better in the final game. I would say it would get pretty annoying trying to traverse this as Child Link in this version. Curious what that house would have been. This must have been like maybe Lake Hylia? Maybe? Or actually, I'm curious if it's based off that older Atlas photo of the in-game map. Right here technically would be where Lon Lon Ranch is. And then behind there would be Lake Hylia. So I don't know. And I'm also, I'm going to expose myself right now. Because there's something I finally discovered in Ocarina of Time that is pretty embarrassing. I finally figured out why Lon Lon Ranch is called Lon Lon Ranch. I never put two and two together that, wait, Malon, Talon, Lon. So it would be Lon Lon Ranch. It's just like, oh, I can't believe it took me till yesterday to find that out. A game I've played 1,000,000 times. Yeah, it looks like this is another entrance to Hyrule Castle. I know they said at some point that you would have like 5 different ways to enter the castle. And they would like each take you to a different part of Hyrule. So I guess this section maybe must have been possible. I think this is where Death Mountain was probably going to be. It's going to be on this side. But then they ended up getting flipped in the end. I think that's mostly this area. Pretty cool, honestly. I'm curious what that newer one is. Like that's what I'm gonna check right now. Alright. Let's check out newer Hyrule Field. Let's see what stuff is on here. Okay, it's got Epona stuff. Look like it's got some maybe some training stuff here. This one I haven't seen, so because at a certain point, like I haven't been up to date on what Z64 and some of the other people have been posting throughout the day. I saw this because I was like, oh, it's available. So, and I immediately downloaded it to get on. So, I haven't seen some of the new stuff he's been posting. Yeah, this one is definitely the, hey, we got Epona running. Now you can practice and just run around. I wonder if this is a Hyrule Field in that clip where like Link's using the little horse reed. He's using the horse grass. Because this right here, this is definitely like final game assets. Like the grass looks right. The little road looks right for the dirt. Like if I blinked right now, I could almost think I'm playing the final game. Compared to that last one where it looks like Looney Tunes. It's like, wait, what's this? That grass ain't looking right. Alright, it looks like Lon Lon Ranch right here. Yep. So this is the point where Lon Lon Ranch was in the middle. Hyrule Castle looks pretty much the same. All these gates are just randomly placed. It's really funny. This definitely had to be a test map. Because if this was like for the Space World demo where you could just do like a dungeon and other things, this definitely seems like a just mess around and try stuff with how the environment's set up. I'm not gonna walk through there because obviously there's no collision probably. No gate. Okay. Oh, that's weird. that's really strange. Because like from here it's like, oh, it's the regular game. Then you turn over and it's like, wait, what happened? It's really throwing my brain off. Like, I'm like, ooh, where's Kakariko? But the fact that they blocked this off, like, I'm kind of curious. It's like, would Kakariko be over there? Like, huh? Now I wish this was like the GameCube where I had that fast run. That was my favorite thing playing the GameCube, like the Master Quest Ocarina of Time, is that when I had my action replay, have all those cheats where like Link's growing in size, and like Link can run super fast, and you can get like really quick where you can just like break through the Master of Time door in like a GIF. Random part of field. This part isn't the final game, at least. It's not as big though, because there's like a little lake and then there's like some trees, but you only really ever go over there like if you're playing a randomizer, since there is like chests there. This one is pretty good though, I will say. Okay. So it's just a small little test area. This is definitely, that one definitely seems like a, hey, it's a demo, just try Epona around. That's what it seems like. So that one probably wasn't indicative of the final, like, one they were working on at the time. Oh, I got the glitch again. Probably not glitch, it's probably something just exclusive to debug ROM. Alright, let's get back. Okay. Let's check. I talked about Kakariko Village. Let's check out Kakariko Village. This one's definitely bare bones. It's got that early grass again. It's got that early dirt road. These houses are just like so strange because it doesn't fit the art style anymore. Like, it's weird seeing this stuff running in like the final engine, because these houses are like, these are like almost remnants of that early Zelda footage where like Link still had like a really cartoonish style, almost similar to like Link to the Past artwork and all of that. And it kind of fit with that art style. Like when you see the one with like Link in like Hyrule Castle, where it's actually like a full-on town you could walk around. Like, I feel like the houses would fit that version of Ocarina of Time. But compared to like Link's model, it doesn't fit now. It looks really weird. You know, it's pretty interesting seeing this version of Kakariko. Now, this is definitely an area that got huge improvement. Like, this area would not actually even be good in the final game, because it was definitely a worthwhile change, having it be a much smaller area, more compact, and like, I don't know, it felt more right. The space is pretty nice on it, but it's just, this looks like if I was making a game and I want to make a first town, this is what I would make. Like, this reminds me of that first town in Final Fantasy 1. Like, actually, you know what it is? What it exactly is they designed this like it was a 2D game. Not realize, well, not they realized, but like, it's definitely, looking at this now, it really reminds me of a 2D top-down, like, Zelda. Like, it reminds me of Link to the Past and kind of how things are placed, and you kind of looking at 2D games at the time. Like, I was thinking of Final Fantasy 1, their village, because it kind of does share some similarities in just how it's like, okay, buildings are like this, just flat, and so on. And this definitely was something that they learned throughout development, as, of course, this whole map is not in the final game. And Kakariko got a much needed upgrade, along with a lot of other areas. But it's really fascinating to see this, because you really get to see how much they learned and adapted to just working in a 3D space. Like, that was always the thing that I like talking about Ocarina of Time. It's just that it was such a big challenge going from 2D to 3D, and they pulled it off really well for a first like Zelda game into that. Like, some people will disagree and will be like, you know, Ocarina of Time sucks, it was a bad 3D game, but for the time, boy, I was blown away. I talked about it enough on my playthrough on it. I won't go over it again. But all I will say is, when I first saw this game, I was blown away. I restarted the intro like 3-4 times. It took me like 30 minutes before I even like started playing. I kept restarting it. So it's definitely something that, like, when they did learn how to work in 3D, it worked really well. All right, let's keep going. We're getting some pretty interesting ones coming up. Graveyard. Now, this one I have seen before. This is like one of the first ones I saw on Twitter. And this one particular, I was like, yeah, I've seen this before. And it actually, it was a pretty early screenshot of the game. Let me see if I can like recreate it like perfectly. But it was something like this. Link was standing here. There's a Poe to like right where Link's facing. There was a Poe. But what threw it off was that the background was like this dark, like a dark world kind of background. It was like purple sky. The moon was all huge. It honestly, it looked pretty sick. But it never made to the final game. The Kakariko Graveyard we got was, thankfully it was an upgrade. And kind of reiterating my point I made last time, this is definitely an example of they were just pushing 2D into 3D, and before they kind of realized that they have to change it up in working in this 3D space. Also, that background's like it's got the moire patterns. It's pretty weird. I feel like this texture's pretty cool. This is probably where you would have learned Sun Song, maybe. But no, there's some stuff that's also in the text. It's pretty cool. Apparently, like in Hyrule Town, there was an inn you could stay at. So if you wanted to wait for like day to go to night or night to go to day, you would sleep in the inn. It's like, that didn't make it in. That didn't make it till like Majora's Mask. In that game, you really don't want to do that. That's a waste of time. It's like stuff like that's really cool to find out, just to know like, yeah, this stuff was in development at some point. I mean, that was pretty cool. Okay, Lost Woods. Let's check this one out. I was like, oh, it's not a lot of the map. It's like, oh no, it is. It's just not loading in because it's huge. Definitely. Definitely different. I'll say that much. This is a super huge area. It's actually like a little. Oh, that's pretty cool. A little up top of the place. It looks like they tried to keep Lost Woods kind of similar in a way to how it is in like older. Probably like Links to the Past, where it's more of an open area you can explore, compared to like the maze it kind of turned into in the final game. Pretty nice scenes. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Like, I don't think there's any like pre-release thing that actually showed like what Lost Woods was. So this is pretty nice. Oh, I didn't realize that was an exit. Shadow Temple. Well, I'm not trying to see this right now. Definitely, final game, without a doubt, much better. They made the right call on that one. But I do like that approach I've been saying. It's just like, make area big. That's the big takeaway I'm seeing in a lot of places. Is area massive. Make it wide. Alright, Kikiri Forest. Check this place out. Oh, speed runs. Oh, that wall's different. Okay, this actually this is like Kikiri Forest 2.0. Okay, so the little spot where you get the sword is gone, so that must mean the sword was somewhere else. And the reason I say Kikiri Forest 2.0 is because there actually is a way earlier beta version of Kikiri Forest that is out there that was a part of the Giga Leak. Which that one also had, it was another area that like I'd only ever seen in beta screenshots. But that Kikiri Forest is huge. This one does seem pretty close to final game. Like there are some differences, like a little tall platform isn't here. Of course, little area we get the swords gone. The area to Lost Woods isn't there. Okay, shop. The little lake that's here is gone. And a few other things, but you know, it's pretty close. This is probably when like they were like finalizing this area, because all the changes are like really small stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty close to final game. Because the Kakiri Forest I saw, the one of the earlier versions of it, like it's pretty different. Like Link's house is like isolated, far from everybody else. Like that one really gives a good look and kind of lets you see like, okay, Link is isolated from the other Kakiri. Like you get a pretty good look at that from there. Just as like his house is in a whole isolated area and you gotta like go through a whole tunnel to get out. And the Great Deku Tree area is way bigger and it's pretty cool. Alright. Forest building. What is this? Huh. Forest. I remember people were saying this possibly was the entrance to the Forest Temple. Oh, is this? That looks like it's Goma's room. Yeah, based on the look, this looks like this probably is. Yeah, this is the boss room for the Great Deku Tree. I can just tell instantly. It kind of looks like that screenshot in a way, but the branches here give it away right here and there. So this is where you fought Goma. It's pretty close. It's pretty close to the final game. Definitely not as big though. But yeah, getting back that earlier area, that's definitely that looks like it probably could have been either Forest Temple entrance or something else. I don't know. Oh, we got this again. How many times has it been? You know what I didn't think to do? Why don't I just save state right here and I can just load it back? What? halfway through the video. Why didn't I just save state? I'm sure someone was screaming at me like, why save state? All right, how much more do we got? Still a lot left. All right, well, you know, let's just keep going for a little bit more. I think I probably won't check everything out on video, but we'll try and get as much as we can. I can. Maybe I'll live stream the rest. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely would be down to live stream this, but I would go through all of them in like single order. Cause live stream is like, you know what? There's no time limit. YouTube, you know, people got lives. They got things they want to do. I don't think people want to sit here for me and watch get excited for 3 hours. As much as I like to get excited for 3 hours, no one's gonna want to watch that. And here's early Lake Hylia. This also looks like where that one screenshot was, where like Link's talking to like the NPC. It looks pretty close to it. Maybe it was a different version of Lake Hylia, but it definitely seems similar to it. Up. Crashed. Yeah, I should have. It's like, I've never seen that texture before. The game was probably like, we don't know what that is. That was a cool texture. I was like, hey, you know, it looks pretty cool. He's definitely one I haven't seen before. Zora's River, is this? Ganon's Tower now? This area already definitely vastly different. This seems cool though. I do like this little area. Oh, I figured it was gonna be an exit. Back to Shadow Temple again. All right, back here. Man, I'm really mad I didn't do that in the beginning. I don't know why I wasn't thinking. I got too excited to getting into this. I didn't even think of that. All right, Garuda Valley. So it's got, looks like it's got a few more tents lying around, a few more of the crates. Bridge still broken. What's the bottom look like? Oh, so still about the same then. Okay, that's about the area right here. You know, it's pretty close to final game. Few little differences, but that still retains most of the stuff. Horseback archery. Okay, so this is definitely one that wasn't a screenshot of the game. An old one. And it looks like it was probably like an... Well, definitely it's the horseback archery. It's an early version of one. It's pretty cool. hear Epona. Where's my boy? Actually, Epona's a girl. No, I said, where's my boy? It's kind of spooky. Just hear invisible Epona somewhere. I don't know where Epona is, but I hear her. Yeah, there's some funky patterns. Does look like it would be a pretty fun little target range, though. Now, I'm not gonna go through all this because I did see some footage. This goes on for a good way. I don't have Epona, so it's gonna take years to walk. But I think you kind of get a good idea of this. Okay. I think I'm gonna check out a few more, maybe like 3 more, and I'm probably gonna call it. Alright, Hyrule Castle. This is definitely different. Like, look how short this is. No having to dodge guards like Metal Gear style. Just walk right in. Not gonna lie, actually like this one a lot. Huh. Can you actually just... Interesting. Okay, so at this point, there wouldn't have been the Malin having the egg to wake him up to get the chicken and getting in here. It looks like you would just jump right in and you'd be right in there. Huh. It's cool. It's cool this area was expanded. Like, they definitely did some work on this area. They put in some hours there. All right. Let's check out some more of the temples too. Okay, ladder test, textureless scene, plane test, Gomer. Okay, I already checked that one out. Chamber of Sages, fountain. Check out Temple of Time. This is what I'm curious. These are new. This is new. Wait, what? That's new. Wait, the little Mask of Truth isn't here. I mean, Link can't crawl under to get hints? What a ripoff. This door's new. If only I could get inside and see the secrets that lie in there. No, I'm really not trying to do that in here. 1, I'm on emulator. 2, I'm on a terrible controller. There's no way. And this door probably acts way different than the one in the final game. Do you like this little medallion? I do like the little light medallion here. This is probably where you were gonna like warp. And the Triforce is like sideways, upside down. Good changes they made. I do like some of the stuff in there though. That is nice. I'm curious if there actually is like more stuff in there. All right, fountain. Let's check this one out. It's not the infamous unicorn fountain. That is still in the search. People are still looking for that one. I feel like that's like the one everyone wants, like, where's the unicorn fountain? But it looks close though. It looks like it's kind of in a like it's a similar room, but it's a different one. I will say in some form, this one kind of reminds me of like Majora's Mask and like how their fairy fountains were kind of laid out in a way. They kind of did like look like this, so this idea definitely probably went into Majora's Mask. Yeah, it's pretty nice looking room. I like the little walls here. Look pretty cool. Probably would look good with all the water running and all the effects. You know, that's the one thing I have noticed looking through all this stuff is that a lot of stuff, well, not even just the maps, just looking at all the info that's come out from this Space World demo, is that a lot of ideas, even if they didn't make it into this game, they definitely made it into future Zelda titles. Like, some of these ideas is like, it may take a bit, but they eventually do make it into a Zelda game. It may take a year, may take a few games, but they will eventually make it in there. Okay, what's spiral structure? Looks like a Great Deku Tree. Looks like an early version of it, or something from it. Yeah, I'm definitely getting Great Deku Tree vibes. So maybe this was like some other part of the dungeon. Maybe this was how you got to the boss, because that's the one thing I couldn't figure out in that first like area, was like where the boss room would be. Cause we saw the Goma room, so I'm curious how you got there. Huh? That's it for this one. Okay. SRD test. What's this? I guess this is a lighting test. Hey, that's probably just lighting. Plane test. Oh boy. It crashed the whole thing. Yo, it closed the whole program. It's like a creepypasta. See how that was? It was just like, Link was kind of like spaced out for a second, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Boom, program closes. Okay, I'm back. I'm not gonna check out the creepypasta. I'm not gonna check out any of these tests. They're probably like just random stuff in there. I think for a final one, let's check out Water Temple. This one I've been curious about. I've been seeing some photos of it. This one does seem like pretty different. Boss room is definitely way bigger. One thing I will say, I do like, I don't see those spikes there. That's the thing I always hated with the boss, of those spikes. Even though those spikes are good because you can get that quick kill on them, but that's the only thing I'll give it. Everything else is like, nah, those spikes suck. Oh my god, look at this. You can get to the boss without the, the spikes again, the moving ones. Oh, can I get this in the full game? Honestly, that's the thing, like, playing all this, I wonder if there's gonna be a modder at some point who's like, you know what? I want to try and, like, actually get, like, actors and everything in this room. Like, I wonder if somebody could theoretically get the Great Deku Tree dungeon and, like, actually bring it to life. Like, a kind of as a what could have been, with, like, the full thing, like, done. Now that would be sick. I would love to see that. I would be the first person in line to play that mod. Well, not mod or hack. I don't know. I said mod. It's like what's this? What's this Fallout? Like, yeah, I got a little mod Ocarina of Time and playing. Like, no, hack. Put some respect on it. This is definitely way different. Like the design of just like the different floors and each one having its different section, that stayed the same. Like, but let's see, is there more in these areas? Oh, get down here. Definitely gonna be water here. Yeah, even though this shares a lot of similarities, this would have been a whole different dungeon. Like whatever that is over there, the ground stuff, like it seems like a lot of the dungeon would have probably taken place in this middle section here. Maybe. I wonder if it's an early version, if this dungeon would have had the same notoriety it does in the final game. Probably not. This, honestly, I can't speak on it. Like, none of us really can, because none of us know what this would have been in the final game, and had there been puzzles and everything else and actually finalized in it, would it have been as hard? Probably, looking at this right now, it probably wouldn't have. Because the thing that makes that temple, it's not really hard for me, but what makes it so challenging for like the first time going into it is because the dungeon itself, you know, it's pretty big, and there are a lot of small areas you kind of miss, and that's where all those like important keys are. That's really the biggest thing of it. It's just like having to deal with the water levels and figuring out the keys and where they're at, and so on and so forth. Like, this area does have some stuff that, you know, actually, I will take that back. There actually is a little bit to this even outside the main tunnel. But it seems more manageable to, like, explore. This is definitely raising water level area. Okay, yeah, this is a whole different dungeon. Like, this is actually really cool. It looks like Great Deku Tree and the Water Temple are pretty much two entirely different dungeons. Because I don't think I've ever seen footage of this place before. But this is cool. Damn, I might have spoke too soon. This dungeon actually, legit, is kind of big. I think I'm actually kind of lost. Like, where am I? Hopefully this just takes me back outside. Am I outside? Okay, I'm outside. Yeah, this is a big dungeon actually. Never mind. I spoke too soon. There is actually a bit to it, because even inside those rooms, looking up, I noticed that there's like holes you can like swim up, and you have to change the water levels in there too. Okay, there's nothing in there. They definitely designed a lot of these like Like Great Deku Tree and Water Temple definitely have a lot of the same kind of design philosophies of just kind of having one centralized zone in the middle of the dungeon, and you kind of offshooting into there, and you kind of either gradually getting up there in the Great Deku Tree case, where in this one you're kind of going in between both, where you're going up, you're going down, and in between. Yeah, this one's awesome. That one was really cool. You know, I think I will legit actually probably call it there though. There's a few more I didn't see, and I'll probably check those out later on, like in a live stream and that. But I think for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call it, because I have gone on quite a bit. I don't know the exact time, but it's definitely been long. That's all I'll say. Yeah, this is cool. Actually, not. I completely flubbed it because I actually wanted to be in the file select, so it's got music playing, so it's not just silence. But no, this was cool. Like, big props to Z64 for compiling this thing, but also big props to Forest Illusion. One for getting the F-Zero dev cart, finding out, oh yeah, Ocarina Time stuff's on there, and everybody who's been finding stuff on their own and compiling it and getting everything working, like huge props to them. Like this stuff is really cool. One, also, it's really cool to see, but it's also very important. It's a really good kind of one look back, because it's stuff we're never going to see, and kind of just being able to see inside that window of stuff. From a developing standpoint, it's probably really cool too, because you get to see a lot of like decisions early on, and you can kind of see like, okay, they went with this change, and you can kind of see, okay, they changed it for this reason, and they went with it in the final game because of this and that, and it's nice to see. But on the other side of the coin, for someone who is a fan of the game, it's really cool just seeing a side of the game that you really never got to see, and just kind of seeing stuff kind of unmasked, if you will. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed watching me talk about Ocarina of Time, talk about this stuff. There's obviously a lot more stuff that is included inside of the stuff that I didn't go into, but obviously this wasn't the point of the video to talk to go in depth on every single aspect, because I'd be here for another 4 hours. I would definitely say there are a lot of places discussing this stuff, and stuff is still kind of ongoing and finding out stuff from it. And definitely the place that's going to have this stuff at some point is Cutting Room Floor. That is a great site if you're looking for just beta assets of games and everything else. And I'm sure once all the information is out there, that site's going to be updated, and all this stuff's going to be in there. And if you want to actually try this out for yourself, in the description of this video, I'm going to have a link to Z64's channel and the video in particular that has the download link for this. So go support them, like their stuff, subscribe, because this stuff's great. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me here. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm John GWC, and I will see you later. Peace.